I would like to first start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, and double honors to the elders and apostles who rule well and teach well, and salutations to the hopeful elect who are scattered abroad, and the men out there laboring in truth and in sincerity. This video is dedicated to how to tell if you're still in captivity. Okay, so yeah, this video is called "How to Tell If You're Still in Captivity." This is for the Israelites who, and the Israelites, let me just say this, are the so-called black, the Negro, so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans. And of course, we have the scattered abroad that's in other countries that may not even go by those names. All right. But this video, it's for the people who love the truth. I might have a couple more parts to it because this is kind of in depth. But yeah, if you're not for the truth, then this video is not for you. But I'm just gonna be speaking facts, speaking of truth according to the scriptures. And just if you just look out, if you got eyes to see, you could tell, how we're still in captivity. All right, we're behind enemy lines. I'm specifically um broadcasting. I'm specifically making this video from Babylon the Great. Okay, that is USA, America. Okay, so this is the first verse, Jeremiah 2, verse 14. It says, "Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?" Okay, so essentially, Jeremiah is asking, like, were we just born to be slaves, right? Because we've been in constant captivity. And if you look at this picture that I'm showing on the screen, you can see all the captivities throughout history, right? Of course, you got Egypt. The Hebrew Israelites were under subjection of the Pharaohs, right? You got the captivity of the Cushites. This is all through the book of Judges. The Cushites, Moab, Canaan, right? Uh, Midianites, Ammon, Philistines, Assyrians, Babylonians, Medo-Persian Empire, the Greeks, the Romans, the Africans and Arabs, and American, of course, just scattered all abroad the whole world, right? Just dispersed. So not just America, but this is the main place of prophecy in which a great deliverance is going to occur. All right. So we've been in so many captivities. This is why Jeremiah is like, why are we, we always spoiled. It's almost as if we were just born to just be servants, right? We were just born to be slaves. But that's not really the case because we are the children of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give you some examples that to let you know how are we still in captivity. All right. For one, we don't make the rules. We don't make the laws. Okay. As a nation, as a whole, we don't control the economy. We don't have our own currency. We don't have control over trafficking, which, dealing with world trade, import, export. We pay tribute while participating in society. That's like, paying taxes, things of that nature. When you're a ruler, you don't pay tribute. Okay. Another thing is our rulers are not of our own God-given nationality. All right, so we have people of another nation that rule over us. Our presidents, the kings, the queens, all of the high officials, the elite. They are not of our nationality. Another way you could tell you're still in captivity is the standard names of the days and the months are named after idols. Okay, like, so we don't have control over things of that nature, like the time, the seasons, right? The language. We don't even speak our native tongue. That's another way to tell that we are in captivity. We speak the tongue of our rulers. You know, we don't live in or have control over our native country, the motherland, Yasharallah. Okay. Another way is another way we could tell is women have rulership over men. That is a clear sign that you're still in captivity, because that's not the order that was set up through the Israelites. Okay. Another way is to tell is we have no say so as a nation over world affairs. So that includes, diplomacy, foreign affairs. Like, we don't have any influence over things of that nature. Okay, we don't have a forum for globalization. We don't have a international pool, if you will. All right. Now, I'm saying all of this to say is because people scoff at the Israelites, the true Israelites, for subscribing to the heritage that's not given to them by their oppressors. This is not for the naysayers. This is not for the gainsayers. This is just straight truth. All right. This is the pure truth. All right. Like Isaiah 44:5 said, one shall say, I am Yahawah's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahawah, and surname himself by the name of Israel. And that's exactly what we're doing. This prophecy is being fulfilled. Today, we are calling ourselves by our native heritage, our the heritage that we was given by the Most High, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay? And people, they say, oh, y'all just black Hebrew Israelites, steady putting that byword, a title or a moniker or whatever you want to say on our true nationality, in which, that's just them being a scoffer, right? Also, those who do not believe that we are in captivity act like they have the solutions, and they act like they free, but really they're still dependent on their oppressor for everything on a national level, as a whole nation of people, a race of people, if you will, right? We use their monetary system. I'm talking about the oppressors. We pay taxes. We use their grocery stores. We support the economy, and some of us, some of our people, even follow their holiday practices, which is idolatry. All right, so we are not truly free. These practices and customs that we have learned while we've been marinating in Babylon the Great were given to us as a culture. We've been cultivated in this way. All right. Now, many Israelites refuse to accept that they are indeed in captivity because they suffer from normalcy bias, cognitive dissonance, right? And if you want to know what these words are, you should look these things up, right? The truth is out there. If you're really seeking for it, then you need to do some more research, okay? And ultimately, they are bewitched by the sorcery of Babylon the Great. They've been drinking on that Babylon juice, right? Smoking that Babylonian smoke, that Babylonian pack, all right? So they're bewitched by the sorcery of Babylon the Great, which is the illusion of choice or illusion of control, false sense of security, cultural and social conditioning, false sense of freedom, which are superficial freedoms or distractions to divert your attention from underlying oppression, right? This is why people are so bewitched, because it's through propaganda, entertainment, or controlled narratives. Many Israelites have been and still are cultivated by the beast, which is this reincarnated, regenerated Roman Empire. They've been cultivated by the beast to be docile and simple, lacking awareness. And when you have access to the internet, the comfort of buying what your heart desires, eating whatever you want to eat, watching whatever you want to watch, going to the store, the ability to somewhat be mobile without asking for permission, right? Freedom to speak on platforms. You feel free, right? But really, this is just that carrot on the stick role for my people. Really, it's just like it's like a sausage link on a fishing line. They just constantly chasing after fleshly, carnal things, and just to gain what do you call it, a footing in this society, to be a part of this illusion of freedom. But on a bigger scale, we see that it's an illusion if you subscribe to the truth. All right. But they not really looking at the bigger picture. If you constantly still believe that you are just free to do whatever you want to do, free just because you're free to do whatever you want to do, that you're just you're not in captivity. You're not a captive. You're a servant, though. All right. And I'm gonna prove it. Matter of fact, I already listed some things off, but I'm gonna go into depth. I'm gonna bring out some more scriptures. All right. So people who think like that on that level are those whose God is their belly and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. That's Philippians 3:19. These are also those who are living according to the flesh, all right, who set their minds on the things of the flesh, which gratify the body. So all of these gifts and rewards that we receive by participating in society is really blinding, the truth that they're actually living. They don't see the underlying oppression, all right? But of course, those who are living according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. That's Romans 8:5. All right, so I'm going to bring out some more signs that we are still in captivity. All right, for example, civil activist organizations. All right, and this is part one. I'm gonna call this the want of all things, because that's really one of the curses that we are actually living through. Okay, so like I said, we have these civil activist organizations, right? And there's quite a few, is more than a few civil rights and activist groups that advocate for so-called black people. And I'm saying black people because just based on my personal experience, from the byword that I have been associated with, throughout history. All right, some of these well-known civil activist groups include, of course, the NAACP, which is the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, for the advancement of colored people. Black Lives Matter. All right, the National Black Justice Coalition. That's new to me. This is a civil rights organization dedicated to the empowerment of, I'm gonna just say, the Black alphabet community. All right, so they deal with all of the LG, all those people, and that's dealing with black. That's which is off. Okay. Then you have this organization called the Black Pack, which is an independent, black-led, non-profit organization working to change existing social and political systems through political engagement. Black Pack helps motivate black voters to go to the polls and elect political candidates who are willing to make those changes. Black Pack also holds those politicians accountable for creating policies to defend rights, promote dignity, and end white supremacy, right? And that last line really puts the nail in the coffin to prove that, we're still in captivity, because all of these things are basically just a cry for help. All right, a cry for a savior, for a messiah. Okay, these are organizations, they supposedly work towards various goals such as ending racial discrimination, promoting equality, and addressing social injustice. However, these factions have not delivered us and fully liberated us from the rulers of this world. So when people set up these groups, they're looking at a smaller picture. They want change. They want to be they just want to be on the level, to be treated fairly. Okay. But the fact that we have to build up these organizations to fight for civil rights is a great sign that we are still in captivity. Despite legal reforms and advancements, structural inequalities persist in areas such as education, employment, healthcare, housing, and criminal justice. These activist groups work to challenge and dismantle systemic systemic barriers that perpetuate inequality, but they're just fighting just to be equal in the kingdom of their oppressors, which is futile. And why is it futile? Because of the curses. These things, like, we setting up these groups, it's futile, it's in vain, in a sense where it's not going to redeem us. Okay, right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, because this is where the curses, and these were supposed to be set forth as a sign, over the children of Israel, to let us know who really, it's also a sign to let us know who fit the curses. All right, who are the children of Israel. Okay. All right, this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. All right. So, per the curses, right, according to the curses, we will be constantly fighting in an upward hill battle, always fighting to be on the same level, social equality. But we will never reach their level of social status, preeminence, or diplomacy. Okay. And the reason why too, of course, because we transgressed, we transgressed the laws, and we broke the covenant, right? Because this is the reason why we are in captivity. But of course, this was all set up from the beginning. All right. So Esau, right? He's a part of this whole conundrum that we are in, right? As well, because he's the sword. All right. He has all the fatness of the earth. He's living in his blessing, right? As a nation of people. If you notice, the people that rules over us, if you just look on the money, then you'll see the type of people that rule over us, and that they go back to the lineage of Esau, Edom. Okay. So Esau has all the fatness of the earth and access to the regulation of all resources needed to survive. We are cursed as to go through his system and depend on him to receive these resources. As a nation, we do not have oil reserves or federal reserves or power or ability to charge tariffs. We don't have the ability to place trade sanctions, which are restrictions on trade with a country for reasons of foreign policy. We do not have capital as a nation of people. All right. Capital, that's a very important thing, right? And to prove as well who has the power. Okay. We need capital. We don't have capital. We barely even have we don't even have our own land. Okay. So that's an asset in itself, a country, right? We're just spread all over the place. All right. So this is Deuteronomy 28:44. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. All right, so we're the tail. We're the last one hired and the first one fired. Right. This is verse 48. It says, "Thou shalt therefore shalt thou serve your enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he have destroyed thee." Okay, so what does this mean? We gotta go to him. We gotta go to our oppressor, right? Our enemy for everything. In the want of all things, that means for the basic necessities of life, right? So the phrase "in want of all things" refers to a condition of extreme need or deprivation where, we lack the essential necessities and basic provisions for sustaining life. All right, so I'm about to give some examples of what the want of all things would encompass. All right, it already said food, water, clothing, and shelter. The basic supplies and commodities, right? Being unable to acquire essential items for daily living, such as cooking utensils, bedding, hygiene products, and household goods, healthcare and medications, right? That includes access to medical care, medications, and treatments, right? So we got to depend on them for health care. I mean, of course, you don't necessarily have to, but we're in a situation where we were brought up in Babylon the Great to depend on these things. We were taught these things, right? Educational opportunities. We got to go to their schools. Facing barriers to education and skill development, limiting future prospects and opportunities for personal growth. So we're not taught, we're only taught what they want us to be taught, right? Employment and livelihood, social services and support, social safety nets, welfare programs, or community resources to assist individuals and families in time of need. All right, so this is a part of the want of all things, and we need food, we need shelter and clothing, safety and security, legal rights and justice. We depend on their justice system, right? All while enduring systematic injustices, discrimination, and lack of legal protections, impeding access to justice and equality. All right. So the phrase "the want of all things" encapsulates this state of deprivation and need across various aspects of life. It conveys the profound consequences of being subjected to oppressive conditions and the erosion of basic human dignity resulting from social, economic, and political marginalization. All right. All right, let's go to Lamentations. So I hope you're getting it. We're not fully autonomous, and Lord willing, the next video I make will be about sovereignty. All right, so this is Lamentations 5:2. This is an echo of our situation, right? It says, "Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens." All right, so the motherland, our origin, where we were planted, the motherland has strangers squatting there, occupying the land. We have imposters, LARPing over there in the land, the promised land, the land that was promised to us to be inherited. Let me scroll on down to verse 4. It says, "We have drunken our water for money, our wood is sold unto us." All right, so we have to pay for access to clean drinking water. You know, wood also is another resource that deals with housing and building, in which we pay for that too. Okay, so we pay for, we got to go to them to get the shelter. We got to go to them for water, clean drinking water at that. And you know, as you know, in Flint, Michigan, is a sign that we are not that we are in captivity, because that's oppression. The fact that they got to deal with the filthy water, or lead in their water, or just the water is just completely defiled, right? That's not right. All right, so verse 5, it says, our necks are under persecution, we labor and have no rest. All right, so you know, we got this 40 hour week period. This is the American dream, whatever. They give you this 40-hour week period, work period, right? And most Israelites, they live check to check. All right, even on the Sabbath, we work in captivity, so we don't even get to, you know, completely be able to practice our customs of our heritage. Right, we just live check to check. We try to give you the average retiring age is 65, which the average life expectancy is 73, 76, somewhere around there. All right, so you see, that's oppression. Lamentations 5 verse 6, it says, we have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. All right, so without true riches and substance of the land, we are dependent on this system to eat. Right, we weren't taught how to live off the land. We were taught to work and buy, and maybe sell. But where we getting those products from? We're buying them from their reserves, their resources, in which we don't have. We don't have manufacturers. We don't have the infrastructure to support all of these resources. We don't even have the land to build on and to support our own country. You get what I'm saying? All right, so this is verse 8. It says, servants have ruled over us. There is none that doeth deliver us out of their hand. All right, so we are not sovereign. All right, the colonizers who came and stole this land still govern us with their laws, their statutes, their decrees. We are subject to their power by laws. We have been given a new nationality and therefore are governed under the nationality's governments. So now we're American, so-called. We are still in the land of our captivity to this day and are subjected to their rules, like I've been saying. Right, so just because we are citizens with the so-called liberty to move around freely within the boundaries, it does not mean we are free. It does not mean we are sovereign. All right, and I'm gonna get one more verse just to leave it off on a good note, because you know we're going all through this, but we're going through this affliction and time of trouble. But there's gonna be a recompense. There's gonna be a time in which we are free from all of these things. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to bring a solution to these, or I'm gonna try to leave off on a good note when I'm ending these videos. So still, you know, to leave with hope instead of just me harping on the hopelessness of our plight. All right, so this is Ezekiel 36, verse 24. It says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Okay, so eventually there's going to be a time frame in which we will have our own land. We will be delivered. will be gathered from all over the world, right? And we're going to be brought into our own land. So if in that case, that means we're going to be able to be ruling, okay? So eventually we're going to go from servants to rulers. We're going to go from rags to riches, all right? Stay tuned for the next video, Lord willing. I'm going to make a part 2 talking about the lack of sovereignty and the loss of heritage. All right, so I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.